Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Alicia Keys' Holistic Wellness channel. I'm Alicia, and today's discussion is going to be about the modes of courage. See, courage is often thought of as bravery in the face of danger. It is the fundamental, or one of the fundamental elements of holistic wellness and personal growth. Courage is not just about heroic acts or grand gestures. Courage actually manifests, or it is demonstrated and it is manifested in the daily choices that we make to nurture our minds, our bodies, and our spirit. This courage that I speak of can be seen as the little spark that propels us to go beyond our comfort zone, that help us to achieve a sense of wholeness. Now, I believe that one of the greatest acts of courage is the courage to face yourself, the courage to grow up and to become yourself. The reason I'm saying to become yourself is that I've discovered that throughout most of your life, say, could be on the 30, sometimes on the 40, sometimes on the 50. Many of us wear what I would use this analogy that many of us wear accessories, training wheels, a scaffolding. These are things that we copy from others, we mimic, we imitate. This is what social indoctrination is called. We grow up in a particular religion where we're indoctrinated into certain religious beliefs, certain traditions, certain culture, and we reflect the environment in which we are. So we imitate, we mimic, we copy. But how much of that is really truly who we are? So as we grow and we try on things as accessories and training wheels, we see what fits, we see what resonates with us, we see what doesn't. And as we grow, we can shed some of these accessories and adopt others. We can remove some of the scaffolding. We can prop ourselves up differently to the point when we feel courageous enough and confident enough to say, I can take off these training wheels. I've found the courage to let who I am be revealed. It does take courage to look within and to examine the layers of our identity, our idiosyncrasies, our belief systems, our dispositions, particularly when we encounter parts of ourselves that we find uncomfortable and painful or even shameful, the parts of ourselves that we want to judge and shut away in the attic of the dark and don't want to look at. The psychologist Carl Jung famously said that your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. For he who looks outside dreams, but he who looks within himself awakes. See, Jung's message, it underscores the power of introspection, the courage to face our inner shadows without judgment, but just to witness it in order to become conscious of those things and to take Little steps, baby steps, daily and daily, to be patient with ourselves, to embark on that journey towards true healing and growth and self-emergence. Courage is required to engage in this process of introspection as it forces us to confront our fears, traumas, limiting beliefs, etc. And then you will find that when you do this, that we begin to free ourselves from all those negative patterns and cycles and I tend to call it generational idiosyncrasies that we have adopted, that we are not conscious of, that we thought of as that's just me, or this is just us. But we would come to learn that a lot of us is not really us. A lot of me is not really me. And that's why it is so courageous to go through that journey towards true self-discovery. And no doubt, this is no small feat. It takes the brave to do such thing. Brian Brown's famous quote, I want to interject here, says that vulnerability sounds like truth, and it feels like courage. Truth and courage aren't always comfortable, but they're never weakness. Yes, looking at yourself in the mirror, confronting yourself, you have to take yourself to a place of vulnerability to face the truth. It is courageous to face the truth. Some people go their whole lifetime living in the shadows of what I call living in denial, being something that they know it's not them. But to the masses, to society, they are radiating a mask that seems acceptable to society and to the people around them. However, when they sit in their quiet place, they're a failure to themselves. But apparently, with the mask and with the scaffolding and with the training wheels and with the accessories on, to the world, they're such a success. But to themselves, they know that they are a failure. That is the hard truth, that it takes courage to take that all off and to say, I'm willing to go on that journey to be me. It's courage to stand up and just be you. In a society where everyone wants to be a clone or a clown or just a cheap copy of a good original, I say, be you. It's better. It's greater. It's more attractive. All right. So let me go into the second mode because I can go on and on about this. So the second mode, I want to talk about the mode of courage that is needed in emotional wellness. Emotional wellness also demands courage, particularly when it comes to expressing our feelings. Often Often we can shy away from sharing our emotions due to fear of rejection or judgment or condemnation. See, courage allows us to break through these barriers, to be brave, to facilitate open, honest communication with others. This openness is key to building genuine relationships that contributes to our overall sense of well-being. You cannot have a true relationship with someone without revealing yourself. Keep in mind that we have to also be cognizant in order to discern when it is a safe space to do so, when that person is a safe space to do so. I'm not saying to be vulnerable and to reveal yourself to just about anyone. Some people, it's not worth it. You might end up being more destroyed. So keep in mind that we have to also be cognizant, vigilant, and also discerning as to when it is a safe place, when it is a safe space. But again, courage. It takes courage to even know that. Otherwise, we would be going through a spiral of continuous cycles of feeling like you just can't trust anybody, you just can't trust anybody. That there is not courage. So it takes courage to be vulnerable. It takes courage to want to trust. It takes courage to be able to discern and to feel into when is it a safe space and a safe person. And if we just feel into our gut feeling, we can sort of figure that out. We can just be sober in every connection or conversation. Just be sober. Don't be overexcited because this person looks great and this person looks cute and this person looks wealthy or rich or whatever. Don't or dignified or whatever. Don't get carried away with the glitters and the glam and the frills. Just be sober. Just be sober in the conversation. Just be sober in your presentation. Just be sober in your emotions, in your mind. Just be sober and observe. Look and let let situations flow. Let conversations flow. Don't push anything. Don't tighten up to anything. Just be sober. When we let ourselves be seen as we truly are, complete, even with our flaws and our uncertainties, of course, in these spaces that we feel is safe, then we invite deeper connection. In this sense, courage becomes a gift, not only to ourselves, but also to those around us, in the sense that as we model vulnerability, we encourage others to do the same in those safe spaces by helping to foster an environment of mutual support, compassion, and reciprocity of vulnerability and honesty. The famous author Maya Angelou once said that courage is the most important of all virtues, because without courage, you simply can't practice any other virtue consistently. You might do it once in a while, but consistently. I tend to agree with the Honorable Maya Angelou. This might be something that we can look into. All right. Now, moving on to another mode of courage, I want to look at physical courage in your wellness journey. The concept of courage can extend to physical well-being, where it often means overcoming inertia and discomfort. Many of us have experienced moments where we just lack motivation or energy to engage in physical activities or to make healthier lifestyle choices, whether it's getting up early and go for a run or changing dietary habits that we know that we should or addressing a health concern. Courage drives the determination to make those decisions that are to nurture our bodies, that our body needs. Physical courage can also mean trusting our bodies during the healing process. When facing an illness or recovering from an injury, it requires bravery and courage to remain patient, understanding that it takes time to heal physically. It takes time to heal traumas. It takes time to 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 resolve vulnerabilities and all kinds of things that have made us uncomfortable. So it requires bravery for us to remain patient and to follow through with treatments and making sacrifices or adjusting routines that is essential for our physical wellness. Now, moving on to, I'm going to skip through, I just want to give a little nugget of inspiration and encouragement in all these little modes of courage, as I call. So I'm going to skip through. So there's another mode of courage that I call spiritual courage and the search for meaning. We can't talk about holistic wellness in completion without talking about spiritual health, which is the pursuit of meaning and purpose in life. This pursuit is deeply personal and often requires courage to question previously held beliefs. This can be silent questioning, just being with ourselves, to explore new perspectives, or to step away from conventional paths. Spiritual courage can involve re-evaluating these long-held assumptions about life, how our culture, our tradition, our society have indoctrinated us. It takes courage for us to embrace practices that are contrary or different from what we've been traditionally or culturally indoctrinated into. It takes courage to practice things such as meditation and mindfulness or centering prayer, because some of these courageous acts, they literally challenge our existing paradigm. So in the area of spiritual growth, courage is the force that pushes us beyond the fears of the unknown. It allows us to explore new philosophies, new ideas of consciousness, new movements in the shift of the collective human consciousness that may be relevant to the time in which we as a human collective is evolving into. It takes courage to use traditional religious or spiritual or traditional or cultural indoctrination to see this as perhaps the training wheels, the scaffolding, the accessories that we needed to wear to get to a certain point. And it takes courage for us to say to ourselves, it's time to take off the training wheels. It's time to grow. It's time to evolve, to be brave, to rise and to stand. Joseph Campbell once said that the cave that we fear to enter, that it holds the treasures that we seek. See, this is one of his famous quotation that I believe is relevant for this mode of spiritual courage. In this sense, the journey towards spiritual wellness is one of continuous exploration where we take courageous steps that would help to lighten the way through uncertainty. That those courageous steps becomes like a light or a lamp unto your feet as you journey through the ways and the paths of uncertainty towards fulfillment and inner peace. This is the mode of spiritual courage. The next mode is the mode of courage to grow. It takes courage to grow. Growth is not necessarily biological, where you move from a baby, you move to your height is 1 feet, then 2 feet, and you're now 5 feet or 6. That is physical growth in that sense. It's not the sense that I am now 25 or I'm 45 or I'm 60 and I'm grown. That's not necessarily growth. Physically, yes, the body has to change that way, and those physiological changes, we really have nothing to do with it. However, the creator forms us that our physical form will change naturally without our even doing. You don't know how your heart pumps and beats, how the lungs within you function, and how the blood flows through the veins. I mean, we are told by science how this works, but have you really been able to sit and be able to examine your own self, turn your eyes back and roll back your eyes and look into your own self and see that these are truths, what science has said? Have you proven them to be true? So this courage of growth is a personal growth. By its nature, it demands us to face challenges. It confronts our discomforts and demands that we change. Because change is never change unless we really change. So this is a growth that is beyond just physical growth. Growth doesn't happen without us stepping into the unknown. It's the courage to take risk that is essential in navigating major life transitions, whether it's changing your career or ending a toxic relationship or quitting some bad habits or moving to a new place. These decisions are often accompanied by fear of failure or uncertainty about the future, and yet courage will help us move forward despite the fears of what ifs and what ifs and what ifs. What ifs and what ifs, what if that happened? What if we are that in that sense you're creating the future built upon fear. It takes courage to shut all of that down and say, I will, whether I believe in faith or not, or I call it risk, I'm going to have courage to believe that I can do it. Yes, I can. See, this inner strength, this inner courage, and inner confidence and growth also involve the ability to learn from our mistakes and to view failures as opportunities rather than setbacks. Each time we choose to learn rather than resist, to forgive rather than to hold on to resentment, we grow in both our understanding of ourselves and our capacity to navigate lives. As Nelson Mandela once said, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but it was the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that such a brave and courageous statement that the Honorable Nelson Mandela has said? Okay, so the next mode of courage that I want to discuss is courage as inspiration. See, courage to pursue holistic wellness and personal growth is also a source of inspiration to others. When we witness someone overcoming obstacles and embracing vulnerability or living their life authentically, when they have removed all the scaffolding and all the accessories and all the masks and all the training wheels, they remind us of our own potential. Courage then is not just about our individual journey, but also about us inspiring others around us to embark on their own journey as they see us taking that step of courage and bravery. Therefore, not what we say, but our actions and our living truly authentic to ourselves becomes an inspiration, sort of an an inspiration that is not verbal, but by your lifestyle and the life that you live, others would want to be inspired by your lifestyle and your courage and your bravery for them to go on their own journey. See, every act of courage that we take, whether it's standing up for ourselves and our own values, or advocating for our needs, or taking time to care for our mental health, every act of those types of courage, it serves as a reminder that strength lies within all of us. This kind of courage become contagious, inspiring, creating ripples of growth and healing and connection in our communities. The poet Marianne eloquently said, courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Isn't that beautiful? I will try again tomorrow. This is courage. In conclusion, to my modes of courage, inspirational insights, I have discovered that courage is an essential thread woven throughout the entire fabric of holistic wellness and personal growth, forming the foundation of every aspect of our journey towards a balanced and fulfilling life. Courage acts as both the initial spark that motivates us to begin this journey and the steady flame that sustains us through challenges and setbacks. True holistic wellness is a dynamic process, one that requires constant self reflection, adaptation, and openness to change, all of which are impossible without courage. Courage allows us to explore who we are at the deepest level, giving us the strength to embrace both our strengths and our flaws without judgment. By examining ourselves without turning away from the difficult truths we might discover, we gain the clarity to recognize what needs nurturing and what needs transformation. In this way, courage serves as the guiding light for self awareness, a critical component of mental and emotional wellness. Equally important is the courage to express ourselves openly, whether it involves sharing our fears, our dreams, or our emotions. Courage gives us the confidence to communicate with authenticity. This vulnerability not only brings a sense of freedom and release, but it also invites deeper, more meaningful relationships into our lives. Through these connections, we create support systems that are critical for navigating the complexities of our holistic wellness journey. In the area of our physical body, courage is what drives us to take responsibility for our health. This may mean overcoming the inertia that keeps us from engaging in physical activities, facing the discomforts of dietary changes, or trusting our bodies during recovery from illnesses. Each of these steps require us to push beyond what is comfortable and familiar, knowing that our well being is worth the discomfort of this temporary challenge. Spiritually, courage empowers us to venture beyond our comfort zone and challenges our beliefs. The spiritual aspects of wellness is about growth, and growth by nature is unfamiliar and sometimes unsettling. Courage allows us to question the norm and to seek out our own sense of purpose, fostering a deeper connection to something greater than ourselves, whether that be nature, community, or a higher power. Most importantly, courage is what keeps us growing. Every act of courage, no matter how small, is a deliberate step towards becoming the best versions of ourselves. Whether we are standing up for our needs, whether we're taking risks for our dreams, or whether we're learning from our mistakes, it's all courage. And this courage is the force that transforms these experiences into meaningful growth. This growth is not always linear. It often involves setbacks, fears, and the need to try again. Yet the willingness to persevere, to try again tomorrow, as Marianne said, is the essence of courage. This journey of courage becomes a source of inspiration, not just for ourselves, but for others as well. When we choose courage, we contribute to a culture of growth, healing, and connection, inspiring those around us to do the same. Our acts of courage, however subtle, demonstrate that true strength is not about eliminating fears, but about embracing it and moving forward regardless. By embodying courage in our pursuit of holistic wellness, we not only nurture our own lives, but also contribute to a greater collective sense of well being and possibility. In essence, courage is at the substratum of holistic wellness, as it's at the base of personal growth. As courage turns introspection into understanding, connection into compassion, challenges into resilience, and growth and goals into actions. It's what allows us to truly live, fully aware, authentically expressive, and constantly evolving towards a life that resonates with our innermost values and dreams. Courage is not a singular moment of bravery, but an ongoing, continuous practice of an unwavering commitment to yourself, to facing each day with hope, determination, and openness to transformation. This is courage, my friends. And so I want to thank you so much for being courageous with me throughout this conversation, for listening in. I pray that you were truly encouraged and inspired by my reflections of courage, and that you would lean into your own acts of courages that I may not have touched on here, and to amplify those in yourself and in your community around you, that you too can be a brave, courageous guiding light to your community, your society, and to yourself ultimately. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, as always, be well.